All right, let's get started. So, if you guys pull up your chapter 11 exercises, you're going to be getting to take a look at each and every single one. So, a problem for units of production, a problem for double declining, straight line, and amortization. So, let's look at it. It's going to be a lot of brain power to try to get you guys to get used to this and being able to read carefully and kind of think about what you're going to be asked for. So let's go ahead and dive into question number 1. So here you purchase a machine for $2,050, okay, with a $500 salvage value, okay. Its useful life is 7 years and can produce up to 25,000 units, okay. You put this machine into service on June 12th, okay. Use the unit of the production. Oh my gosh, I forgot the unit. Use the unit of production method.
Lynn,
Mm-hmm.
we can't see the
Oh,
exercise.
ha 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 ha! I forgot to put my screen on.
I opened the the particular exercise.
Okay, how about now?
Working. There we go.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. Okay, so well, I already read the question, so let's go ahead and fill out the information here. What is my asset?
Machine.
It's a machine. Okay. How much does my asset cost me?
2050.
2050, and I'm going to. Okay. And do I have a salvage value?
500.
Good. So you guys, if you guys need to, go ahead and grab your review sheets so you can remember which formula belongs where. So 7 years, all right? How many units can it produce?
2500. 25,000.
25,000 units, okay? And lastly, what's the date that we placed into service? June 12th. So that means we need to think about when do we start depreciating?
June.
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 Good. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. What is the depreciation basis going to be for the first year?
Lynn,
Your asset cost. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I have a question about the amount of the asset cost. Is that correct? Because according to the worksheet, it says the copy maker is for 250 million, but
250?
dollars. Doing
Two.
chapter 11. What chapter are you on? Maybe I'm. Oh no, I have the wrong one printed out. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
No worries. Okay, make sure that we're on chapter 11, 11 exercise. It should be the very last thing that's in the Google Classroom. I can give you a minute if you need to grab it. Okay. So, yes, this one is going to be, so what's the formula for the depreciation basis for the first year? What's the depreciation basis formula in general?
Asset cost minus salvage value.
Okay. So in this case,
1550.
1550 is going to be my depreciation basis. Okay. Was it Vina who Was asking about the exercise? Were you able to
Yeah,
go ahead and find it?
yeah, I have it now.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
What's the rate going to be?
It's the basis divided by estimated units.
Good. So in this case, it's going to be the 1550, and we're going to divide it by what number?
2,500, 5,000?
25,000 is correct. And what do we get here?
0.082 something.
108?
No, 0.08. Wait, I'm sorry. I erased.
So, oh my God, mix.
0.050 divided by 0.0. No. 0.082.
You got 0.082? Okay, I'm going to do this again.
I'm sorry. Because
So my depreciation basis is going to be my 2050.
divided by 25,000.
Divided by 20,000. All right. So this should be this divided by my 25,000. Did you do the
I used
1750?
no, I used the asset cost. I made a mistake.
Okay.
That's why I got
Okay.
confused.
So it should be about 6 and 2 cents. I don't know how to say that in proper English, but it's roughly 6 cents. Okay, and I'm not going to round because it doesn't tell me to round. So I'm going to leave all my formulas in my calculations just like this. All right, so what is my depreciation expense going to be? Oh, whoa. What's my depreciation expense going to be?
Number of units times the rate.
So what's my number of units?
1750.
1750. And I'm multiplying it by the rate.
108.50.
$108.50. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and change all these. Okay. So good. $108.50. So what is my accumulated depreciation for the first year?
0. Same 108.50.
Yes, it's going to be 108.50. And then what is going to be my book value?
One ninety four, 1,941.50.
194.50.
1,941.50.
Okay, good. All right. What about the second year? What's my depreciation basis going to be for the second year?
The same figure from the first year, 50/50.
Yes.
All the way to the entire term of the
Yes. we know that the depreciation basis is going to stay the same. All right. And we also know the depreciation rate's going to also stay the same. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this. So what is going to be my depreciation expense for the second year?
About 3,500 times the rate.
Uh-huh. So what is going to be my depreciation expense for the second year? 217. Okay. All right. And what's my what's my accumulated depreciation for the second year? 325.50. And then lastly, what is my asset cost? My book value going to be for the second year? 1724.50. Good. All right. Someone want to go ahead and complete the third year for me? What's the depreciation expense going to be for the third year? $235.60. What's my accumulated depreciation for the third year? 56,110. And what is my um, book value going to be for the third year? 1488.90. Okay. We're okay. No, that's fine. If no one else wants to participate, that's fine too. So what about the depreciation expense for the fourth year?
248.
248. Good. And what's accumulated depreciation for the fourth year?
809.10.
809.10. And then lastly, what is my book value for the fourth year?
1240.90.
1240.90. Good. All right. What about the fifth year? 266.60. Okay. What is my accumulated depreciation for the fifth year?
1075.70.
1075.70. And my book value for the fifth year is going to be 974.30. Okay. All right. Almost there, guys. So what is going to be the depreciation expense for year 6? $254.20. And then what's the accumulated depreciation here? 1329.90. And lastly, what is my book value for the sixth year? 720.10. All right. And let's keep going. Last one. What's my depreciation expense for the seventh year? 22320, and my accumulated depreciation is going to be 155310. And lastly, what is my book value going to be for year 7? 496.90. Okay. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this. Does our salvage value reflect our book value?
No,
No. Why?
it should be 500 and
It
the depreciation should be 22010.
Perfect. So that means because we know that our book value can never be below our salvage value. So we need to go ahead and we're going to switch this up because it needs to be $3.90 a little higher. So let's go ahead and solve for this. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the line below so you guys can have like some kind of answer sheet and reflect, like you can reflect back to it. So if I'm going to change this to be 500, okay, and I'm going to cross this out. So then what do I need to, do in order to solve for the rest of the stuff?
Accumulated depreciation should be the asset, this depreciation basis minus asset value minus book value.
Good. So it's going to be your accumulated
155.
depreciation, your previous year's accumulated depreciation, and we're going to minus our book value. So in this case, this number needs to be 800 and, oh, I don't think that's right.
No, it should be 1550.
It should be 1550. So it's supposed to be
Lynn, it should be
the asset cost. Yeah, that's right. Your asset cost
minus book value.
minus the book value. Yes. So here's my asset cost minus the book value, okay, of 500, which should give me accumulated appreciation of 1550. Good. And then how do I solve for my depreciation expense?
Uh, 1550 minus 132990.
Good. And that means my depreciation expense needs to be 220 instead of 223. Okay? And all of these are going to be crossed out because they're going to be replaced by these numbers right here. And I don't have that on my font section. Okay, so strike through. Bold text.
On the bottom left, Lynn.
Bottom left. Strike through. Wait. That's not it.
The top one.
This one. Strike through. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. So here we're replacing these numbers right here with these numbers right here because our book value can never be lower than our salvage value. Okay? Does everyone understand how we got to these answers right here?
Can you repeat that all over again, please?
Which from where?
When the last line, how'd you get the 500, 1550, and 20?
Okay, so
2010?
what is salvage value?
Salvage value is 500.
500.
Okay, that's your basis. So it should never go down the book value should never go down the salvage value.
And that applies for all three depreciation methods, especially for units of production, because even though you can squeeze out a couple more a couple more figures, right? In this case, we actually we actually met our capacity, right? We need to make sure that our capacity, make sure that it's within the 25,000. But if I go ahead and go on the side right here and I calculate this, all right, so equal sum, I'm going to get a grand total of equal sum. I'm going to get a grand total of 25,050. So in this case, we already know that it can't be that. It can only be 25,000. But in this case, we're still going to keep it the way it is, right? Right? Because we've calculated backwards that it should be this. But in this case, we know that this can't be, it's too much over 50, right? It's over by 50. So in this case, if you'd like to solve it going backwards or forwards, right, you can change this number to reflect whatever, 3,000 minus 50. So you can reflect this number to being the 350, and if we multiply across here, you should get the same number here. Let me see. So equal this times this should give you 22010. Just exactly how we solved it going backwards. If we go solving backwards, it is a little more work because you have to figure out what that formula is. But if you just know, if you just calculate this part and you know that you have to have exactly 2,500, then you can go it this way, right? But going back to this, the formula for book value, right, is going to be your asset cost minus your accumulated depreciation, all right? But in order to solve, we already know what book value is. It has to equal salvage value. Okay? So Tennyson went backwards and did it that way. Okay? And he used the formulas. Okay, so it's going to be to solve for accumulated. It's going to be ACUM depreciation is equal to asset cost, or cost of asset minus book value. Right? That's how you solve for accumulated depreciation. So once he plugged in those numbers, right? And in this case, we figured that the asset cost is going to be 2050 minus the 500, which should give you a total of 1550. Okay? Whereas in order to solve for the depreciation expense, okay, the formula here is going to be your you're going to take your accumulated depreciation. I'm going to put deep like that, minus your previous year's previous AQ depreciation. And in this case, we know what our accumulated depreciation is, and we know our previous accumulated because we solved it going backwards. So in this case, that would be the 1550 minus the 1329.90, and you're going to get your 22010. Okay? That's solving it backwards. Now, if we figured out this number right here, we can solve it going forward. Like I just showed you exactly how we were doing the whole time. If we figured that there's too many units here, right? But at that time, we didn't know. We didn't know. We just assume that it's going to be even. But in this case, it isn't even. We went way over capacity. If you were to solve for this right here and found out that this was equal to 2550, right? You would adjust this number here to the 3550, right? Because we had 50 units over. You'd solve for this, and then you would just proceed as usual. You would multiply it by the 0.62, right? And then you would solve for the accumulated depreciation just the same way as before. Okay? So Tennyson did it backwards using the book value. Okay? And you can also apply it going forward by making that adjustment to the last year, saying we had 50 units over capacity. Okay?
So in other words, granted with the either backwards or the other way, the other option. So we'll just have to subtract whatever the difference from the total within that 7 years.
Yes, because you can't go beyond capacity, right? And same thing here, that applies too. You can't go over, your book value can never go under your salvage value. So in this case, either way we've solved for it is the right way. What I would have done to try to get you guys geared towards this is to solve it by figuring out the total number of your units to get your capacity, subtract it here, and then just going ahead and processing moving forward. But in this case, Tennyson did the other way. And we still got the right answer. Okay? All right? Anybody confused or understand where I'm coming from?
I understand. I think I like totaling the units produced first instead of.
Whatever works your way, right?
Yeah. It's more simple. That's how I understood it.
Okay. It's right. No matter where we are in this problem, whether you went backwards or whether you went forwards, it's still right. You still end up with the same answer. Okay. All right. Okay. So is everyone okay with this problem? Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to the second one, which is going to be double declining. So this one, you also need to be careful as well. This one is where you might need to work backwards for this one. All right, because we don't care about the capacity. All right. So let's look at our problem here. Let me make it a little bigger so everyone can see it. Okay. So here, number 2, okay, you purchase a laptop for $890, okay, with $50 salvage value. Okay. Its useful life is 7 years. And you placed the laptop into service on January 8th. Okay, use double declining method to depreciate. Okay, so let's go ahead. What was the asset that I have on hand?
Laptop.
It's a laptop. Okay, and how much was that laptop?
$890.
$890. And do we have a salvage value?
$50.
Yes, we do have a salvage value of $50. Okay. And its useful life is going to be
7 years.
7 years. And what date did we place it into service?
January 8th.
January 8th. So meaning what? Do we need to depreciate for January or do we need to depreciate February?
Depreciate for January.
We need to start from the very beginning of the year. So in this case, Are we doing partial years or are we okay with where we're at? Assuming that the adjustment entry is done December 31st.
That just confused me.
All right, let's do it again. Let me ask the question again. Here, are we doing partial years?
No.
No, we're not. Assuming that we are going to do our adjustment entry on December 31st, no, we're starting from January. We're going to depreciate for the whole 12 months. Okay? Good. All right. So what is my depreciation basis going to be?
Beginning year book value, I can't see the top though.
The beginning year book value is that 890?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would be 890.
What do you mean, Mia, what do you mean by the top?
I can see it now. The asset cost was 890. This one, the salvage value doesn't come into play, right?
Not for the depreciation basis, but where does it come into play?
For your book value,
Correct. When we're reaching towards our end, we need to make sure that our book value is either above the 50 or right at 50. Okay? Can never fall below. Okay? So in this case, yes, our book beginning of the year book value is going to be 890. Okay? So then what is going to be my rate?
Is it 0.1428571?
All right, that's 1 over what?
7.
7. But there's one more component you're
Yeah.
missing. Times 2.
I got
Okay.
0.29.
So 1 divided by 7 times 2.
Okay.
All right?
So then that's 0.285742.
Yes. And in this case, since I wasn't specific on telling you to round to the nearest 4 decimals or anything like that, I'm going to keep this calculation in my calculator. All right. So what's my depreciation expense going to be for the first year? So in this case, because I'm using Excel, I don't want to have any rounding errors. I'm going to go ahead and use the equal round formula. Oh, equal round. Okay. So what's my depreciation expense for the first year?
254.28.
Okay, comma 2. 254. Did you say 25428?
0.2, yes, that's right, that you have.
Okay,
It's 0.285, but rounded.
good. Good.
29.
Perfect. Round up to 29. All right, because this is what we're going to be journalizing in our journal. You can't have 285, right? You have to round either up or down. And in this case, we're rounding up. Okay, so then what's my accumulated depreciation going to be for my first year?
254.29.
Correct. And my book value is going to be 635.71 is correct. Now, what is going to be my depreciation basis for the second year? Yes, we need to pull it from where we solved it from here. Good, because our formula for the depreciation basis is the beginning of the year's book value. Okay, so good. So now that I have this information, I pulled it over here. So what is going to be my rate? Is it going to stay the same or is it going to change?
Same.
It's going to be the same. So at least with my knowledge, right, I know that every year this book value is going to stay the same. Okay. So what is going to be my depreciation expense for the second year?
181.62.
181.663.
3.
Okay. All right. And what's my accumulated depreciation going to be? 435.92. All right. And my book value is going to be
199.79. I think I might be wrong.
nope, we're not taking 635. What is the rule? Did the book value for the formula change? So in this case, we're taking 890.
890 minus 435. 45408.
Okay. All right. And then now that we have that number here, so what is going to be our depreciation basis for the third year?
50.8.
Yes. And then what is going to be, again, what is my depreciation expense going to be for year 3?
129.7.
129.74.
4.
Yeah, because we're rounding up. We're rounding up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Okay. All right. And then what's my accumulated depreciation going to be? 565.66. Let me see, 4 plus 2, good. And then lastly, what is going to be my book value as of year 3? 334, 324.34. All right. So then that becomes my book value for my depreciation basis for year 4. Okay. Okay, we're almost done here. So what is going to be my depreciation expense for year 4?
92.67.
92.67. Okay. And my accumulated depreciation is going to be
658.33.
658.33. And then lastly, what is my book value for year 4?
231.67.
231.67. Good. And that's going to be my depreciation basis for year 5. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and continue. So what's my depreciation expense for year 5?
6619.
$66.19. As you can see, it's just shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. All right. So what is my accumulated appreciation going to be? 72452. And lastly, what's my book value on year 5?
I got 165.48.
165.41.
48.
48. Good. Okay. Now, year 6 is going to be this number here. And let's continue. Oh, it solved it for me. Oh. So it should be $47.28. Okay, so what's my accumulated depreciation going to be for year 6? 771.80. And then lastly, what is my book value going to be as of year 6? Okay, I think I just have to go like this, and let's take this line. Okay, hold up. Um, okay, good. 11820. Okay, and then lastly, my 7th year is going to be that 11820. And what is my depreciation expense going to be for year 7?
I got 33.77.
33.77. Good. And my accumulated depreciation is going to be
805.57.
805.57. And lastly, what is my book value going to be?
Negative 169.86 is what I can see.
Negative 1?
No.
Or not.
I was like, how'd you get a negative?
When I did my my fill handle, it gave me that. Go back and do that. Yep, I got it right now. 84.43.
Okay, good. Now, it's reached its 7 years of its life, okay? And just like regular and most machinery, right? They can last beyond its years. It doesn't have to stop at its useful life. It's just now the next time you do something with these, whether you're either producing a product or something like that, you can kind of sense that there will be errors moving forward. But in this case, right, it can go one more beyond its useful life because we haven't reached our salvage value yet. Okay, so what you could do here is if you prefer to stop here, you can stop here and either dispose your asset properly, and that's what it's going to be valued at. So you're going to be getting a gain because your salvage value is supposed to be $50. Okay.
And
Mhm.
granted that the book value was less than 50, then that's when we calculate the backward. Or
Correct.
the
Correct.
formula that we did.
Correct. Now, if you want to go ahead and also just take a second to go ahead and do that, I'm going to go ahead and add a couple extra lines on here so you can, if you're
It
using your
can go to
paper,
another 2 years.
another 3 years,
2 years.
another 2 years. Good. So you already went ahead and solved. Cool. So it could go for another 2 years. So, if we were to go ahead and just finish it off, okay. And we know that the book value is going to be this.
60/31 on this.
Yep, 60/31.
The book value 60/31.
Oh, okay. We solve for way ahead. 60/31. And then, so therefore, you can do one more time, which gives you 17.
43.
All right. So in this case, we reached to year 9 with this machine. But we can't have a year 9 existing at $43 and 8 cents. We need to change this to 50. Okay? So again, I'm going to leave it down here so you guys can refer back to it. Okay? So okay, so we need 50. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and copy the formulas from this page over here. So we can have that. So in this case, how much is going to be my accumulated depreciation for this for year number 9? We're going to take our asset cost, which was $890, and we're going to subtract my salvage value of $50. Okay, and what do I get here? Yeah, you're gonna get 840. Okay, and then also, ooh, you're gonna get 840. Good. And then now, how do we solve for depreciation expense using the accumulated depreciation we just figured out in the previous question?
Eight two nine six
82969. All right, and what do we get here?
1031.
10.1031. So let me go ahead and do that formula here minus this number here, and you're going to get $10.31. All right, and we're going to strike through this just so that you know that you no longer have this entire formula. It's going to be for this down here. Okay, that's just extending the problem out to however many years that this machine can produce. But again, as you get down to its last years of its life, you're more likely to get more faults, more errors, maybe if it's a machine that's producing items. So in this case, our asset is a laptop. So in this case, it's going to be super slow by 8 or 9 years. Okay. All right, good. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to question number 3. Now, before I move on, is anyone confused, or is everyone clear with question number 2?
I'm still a little confused, but I'm trying to understand the formula.
Okay, so the formula is if it's basic math. Okay, I'll explain it to you after class. So, question number 3. Let me make it a little bigger for you guys. Okay. So here, question number 3, you purchase a table set for $770 with $70 of salvage value. Okay. Its useful life is 7 years. And you put this table set into into use on August 21st. Use the straight line method. Okay, so my asset is going to be a table set. Okay, what's my asset cost going to be? 770, and my salvage value is
70.
70. So let me go ahead and all right. What is going to be my useful life? 7 years. Okay. And when did I place it into service?
August 21st.
August 21st. So what does that mean?
It will be due in September instead of August.
Exactly. We're going to be September, October, November, and December. So how many months is that?
4 months.
4 months. Good. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So what is the depreciation basis going to be for the first year?
I got 700.
It's going to be 700, right? We're going to take our asset cost, right? And we're going to subtract our salvage value. Okay, which gives us 700. Now, what do we know about the 700?
What do you mean? What do we know?
Well, what do you know about the depreciation basis? It's always going to be the same.
Till the
Same.
end.
Good. So here, boom, 700 all the way down. What's my rate going to be?
I got 0.142857143.
Good. It's going to be 1 over its useful life, which is how many years? 7.
So
So in this case, boom, I'm going to get that long number here, and you know what's going to happen? Well, this stays the same all the way through. Uh, This is going to stay the same all the way through. Okay? And then, so because the first year's depreciation expense, what is going to be my depreciation expense?
We calculate only for the 4 months.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to kickstart my equal round. So what is my formula for depreciation expense?
Rate into depreciation basis.
Yes. All right. And don't forget, because we are time sensitive in here,
Yeah.
it's only 4 months old. So we got to multiply by 4 and then divide by 12.
12.
Mm-hmm. Comma 2, because I want 2 decimal places. Boom. And what did I get?
33.33. That's for the 4 months.
Mm-hmm. For the first 4 months, it's going to be $333.33. I mean, sorry, $33.33. All right. What's my accumulated depreciation for the first year?
The same.
Mm-hmm. And my depreciation expense is going to be, I'm sorry, my book value is going to be 666, oh, sorry, 73667. What number did you use? Did you use 700?
I use again the
No, it should
700.
be
It should be
636. 636. All right. Okay. Okay.
Okay, I was like, remember, the formula for book value is going to be,
Using the depreciation
mm-hmm.
basis should be 3667.
Okay, never will you ever use for book value going to be your depreciation basis. Okay, that formula will stay constant between all 3 formulas, which is your total asset cost minus your accumulated depreciation. Never ever will you ever use your depreciation basis. Okay. All right. Make sure. That's why I provide these review sheets for you. And then if you looked in your study guide section, I have it all printed for you, and you just pull that page up and you have it side by side on exactly which ones you need to know and which ones you need to have. Okay? All right, so next we have here, how are we going to solve for the rest? Now that this was partial years, what is actually my total amount for one whole year for my depreciation expense? What's my second year depreciation expense?
100.
It's going to be 100,
Yeah.
comma 2.
Yeah, round it off. 100.
Good. $100. Yes, because eventually once you get that 3, right, it starts to add up and then it's going to add up to be 100. Good. So then what is my accumulated depreciation going to be?
133.33.
So my book value should be
636.67.
63.637. Now, again, because we solved for one whole year, what's my assumption going to be?
I would say everything. The
Uh,
entire depreciation going down would be 100.
the rest is going to be 100. Correct. But make sure that you know, how old is my asset?
7 years.
It hasn't reached 7 years yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. So let's just go ahead and continue. Let's just go ahead and continue and I'll show you what happens on the 8th year. Okay? So let's go ahead and solve for this. What is my depreciation, accumulated depreciation for the second year?
233.33.
And book value is going to be?
51667.
Yes. So basically, we're adding 100 here and we're subtracting 100 from here. So my next number is going to be
333.33.
33, 33. What is my book value going to be now? 436.67. All right. What's going to be my book value for year 5? 433. And my book value is going to be 33667. Good. All right, let's keep going. What is my book value going to be for year 6? I'm sorry, my accumulated depreciation. Okay, so we're just adding 100, and then now we're subtracting 100. So this is going to be 236 and then 136.67. Now, what is our depreciation expense going to be? I'm sorry, what is my salvage value going to be? 70 even, right? Now in this case, how old is my asset right now? How old is this table set? Is it really 7 years?
No.
Not yet because of the amount based on the book value. So we can still calculate more around 2 years.
Right, but how many years have I depreciated for this table set already?
6 and 4 months, like
6?
6 years and 4 months.
Exactly. Exactly. So in this case, if I were to extend to year 8, okay, how many more months do I have left on this asset?
8 months.
8 months. So if I were to I could take this 100 times, what was it? Times 8 months divided by 12. I should get
67.
66.67. Okay? And if I were to add that to my 633 plus
700.
should be 700 even. And therefore, my book value should be
70.
we should be 70. So 700 minus, oh, wait, 770 minus this. Boom. I've depreciated it completely 100%. And I've reached my salvage value. And that is it. Because right now we know it hasn't reached 7 years left. It's still got 8 months remaining in its life. So in this case, I'm going to adjust it by the 8 months, and I'm going to go ahead and distribute that last 8 months to get me where I need to be at, which is my salvage value. So there you go. Good. Yes.
Will you do me a favor real quick
Mhm.
and show me the formula for year one for the depreciation expense?
Year 1 for the depreciation expense, this
The,
one.
the equal round. And I just needed to see that equal
Mhm.
round. Okay, so that's where I did it wrong. I did the 4 times 4 divided by 12, comma 2.
Mhm. So remember, when you're using equal round, depending on the number that you want to show on the screen, right, or to calculate it up to. So the first argument is going to be your formula. You can make that formula as long as you want. Comma, which is you end your first argument. The second one is going to be how many decimal places you want it, and
Okay,
that's
so
it.
that's the 2 is for the decimal places.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's where I was getting confused. All right, thank you.
So
All
use
right.
the same formula again on the 8th year.
On the 8th year.
Yeah.
No, I did not do that because I was like, I didn't want to. I just took the 100 and just multiplied it by 8 divided by 12. But in this case, yes, you should use the same formula. I just did it really quick. But yes, let's go ahead and put that formula in there so then I am consistent. Right? So here, equal round. We're going to multiply these numbers across. We're going to multiply 8 months and divide that by 12, comma, 2, and end my parentheses. So I should get 6667. And if I were to extend it, it would show zeros after this, okay? So know that when you plug in your formula and you use the equal round, it stops at the second decimal point. Okay? All right. So anybody have any questions in regards to straight line? Pretty straightforward. I don't mean to make a joke, but pretty straightforward.
What I've noticed that the accumulated depreciation and book value, it's reverse. If one goes up, as you go to longer years, it keeps on increasing, but the book value is decreasing. That's just the figure that I noticed there.
Yeah, so in this one, it just worked out that way. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into our last example here, which is amortization. All right. What do we know about amortization?
It's for intangible.
Good. It's for intangible assets. Do intangible assets have a salvage value?
No.
No, of course not. Unless you sell your license early off, which you shouldn't because you have to go through legal for that. But other than that, no, there's no salvage value. Okay? And how do we treat our amortization? How do we calculate our amortization?
Straight line method.
Exactly. We use the straight line method. So, what's my asset here? So, on October 10, you purchase a license for $556, okay? Its useful life is 15 years. So, my asset is going to be It's a
license.
yeah, it's a license. Okay. What is my total cost of my asset? 556. Okay. And what is its useful life? 15 years. And when did we place it into service? I'm sorry, when did we buy it? October 10. So if we did it on October 10, right, everything applies, right? And we're acting as if this is the same thing as straight line. So what does it mean if we start it on October 10?
Start counting, calculating from October.
Exactly. And same thing, copyrights and licenses, they are just like babies. You know, you have to, whatever amount that it's good for, it doesn't start on January. It starts the day that you purchase it. Okay? So in this case, we did October 10, so we got to do October, November, and December. All right? So what's my depreciation basis going to be for my license?
The 556, because there's no salvation, no salvation,
Salvage.
no sal.
It's okay. It's okay. Uh, so, okay, and then, okay. So what about the rate? What's my rate going to be?
1 divided by 3,
Not 3,
divided by 12.
not 12.
15.
15. It's 1 divided by its estimated useful life. Correct?
Okay, estimated.
Yes, because we're applying the concepts from straight line for amortization. So it's going to be 1 over 15, which is going to be this long number here. Okay. What is my depreciation expense going to be for the very first year?
It's 927.
Let equal round. This times 3 months out of 12, comma 2.
927.
927. Good. All right. And my accum is going to be 927. And what is going to be my book value now?
546.73.
546.73. Okay. So what do we know about our depreciation basis?
It's the same.
It's going to be the same. What about our rate?
The rate of
Same.
It's going to be the same. But this time, because our first year was a partial years, what is going to be my depreciation expense for the full year on year 2?
37.7. 37.07.
Okay, so equal round. Multiply this times this, comma 2. And we get 3707. All right. And because 3707, we know that it's for 1 whole year and we're spreading the cost evenly amongst it. It's going to be applied all the way through. So in this case, what is my accumulated depreciation for the first year, for the second year?
518.93.
518. Oh, did you solve for the book value?
Yeah. Sorry. No. I'm wrong.
It's 46.3459. Yeah, it's okay.
4659? 40?
No, 46.34 509.66. It's okay. Book value. It's correct.
Okay. I was like, wait, what?
I was calculating a different number. Sorry.
No worries. In this case, there's only one number that you need to deal with, and that is just your asset cost, which is in this case is 556. So let's go ahead and solve for the rest. What is the accumulated depreciation for the third year?
83.1.
8341. And my book value for year 3? 472.59. My accumulated depreciation for the fourth year is going to be
48. It should be 120.
oh 120 good. And book value is going to be 435.52. And then lastly, for my fifth year, what is my accumulated depreciation?
157.55.
And my book value for year 5 is 398.45. So again, this is all going to stay the same as you apply fourth going on beyond the 5 years, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're all going to be the same, except for your accumulated depreciation, and your book value is just going to decrease. And then, of course, because we did partial years in this one, you can assume on the 12th year, the 16th year, it's going to be adjusted for whatever remaining life it actually truly has left. So that is it for today. All right. Okay, so it is 9:51. Do you guys have any questions in regards to anything that we did today?
Now, if I do, I can always refer back to the video.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
will calculate again on the how to get the rate when it comes to certain only few months before the shorter term before the for versus the entire
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm.